Hello friends, thank you very much for joining me today. It's always a pleasure to speak with you. I've got a lot to talk about today because we've got a new purchase, a lovely Viltrox monitor. It's going to be the primary target of our conversation. But really the whole setup here it's really like the previous video I did on the Nikon ZR. And it had that wonderful flip out screen, 4-inch monitor, and everybody was raving about it, including myself, because I think it's brilliant to have a bigger monitor included inbuilt into the camera. So that red inspired camera design and video-centric arrangement really gave me some inspiration too, and I'll tell you my thoughts and reasonings and why I've done what I've done. Now, I was actually pretty keen to get that unit, I'll be honest with you. And then certain details occurred to me. There's nothing wrong with the camera, of course, or the monitor or anything about the red. It was all brilliant. But what I thought was it's a little bit, for me, one-dimensional in that there's no way I can incorporate that new monitor that's provided on any other camera. So as long as I'm using that red Nikon R camera, that was fantastic. I'd have the good monitor. But if I wanted to use my Z9 or a Z6 or any other camera, that was going to be a struggle then, because I'd be resorting down to the small monitor again. Now, I did own previously, and still do, a large 7-inch monitor, which I have right here. So we'll talk about that a little later in the future. But right now what I wanted to do is just illustrate that I needed to upgrade. So what was I going to do? I could spend $3,500 Australian and buy myself a whole new camera setup and have a decent monitor with it, a nice 4-inch monitor. Or what I could do is use any monitor or a monitor on any camera I should ever purchase right now, the things that I have, and for the cameras in the future. So I thought buying something that was universal, that I could put on any camera at any time, just made more sense to me than being locked into one monitor on one camera, as good as that package may be. So for my personal needs, I think buying a monitor was more practical than me than spending 10 times that on a monitor / camera. So as I already have a Z9 that's very professional and fully capable, it already has 2 forms of full ProRes features, such as the Nikon N RAW and the ProRes RAW. Another form of RAW was just a 3 instead of 2. It didn't make a significant difference to me in my use case scenario. Had I always been shooting with red in the past, that might have been a big deal. As I haven't in the past, and I don't expect to in the future in any hurry from any necessity, I thought it's better to utilise what I already have and just get a monitor that made me feel like I was upgraded and updated in that way. So that's what I'm going to walk you through. So what monitor did I actually choose to be universal for my new cameras? Well, I'll show you. I'll just bring out the box now, and it's worth showing you the box because it's such a beautiful package. So what we have here is the Viltrox DC-X2. So that's the package you see there. Now, what's interesting about this monitor is that it's great value for money and a great budget unit. Now, I love Viltrox products. I've got a lot of their lenses. I've got now a monitor. I've got adapter for macro, various flashes. I have a lot of things from Viltrox now because I'm finding the value for money is really quite spectacular. That's why I looked into them. Not necessarily first. I looked at a whole lot of options such as the Atmos Ninjas and various other newer brands and so on. And what I come up to the conclusion was for features, for value for money, this was an outstanding package. So I'm going to highly recommend it. Now, what are some of the features I like in this camera? Well, it has a vast menu system full of tons of options, which we'll go into a moment as I walk you through those. But for me, what was also good is the build quality. It feels professional. It looks fantastic. They supply every conceivable option you can imagine just in the box when you buy it. So you're not looking for other options necessarily to get it up and going and running. So let me just show you some of those features. It's up here on the Z9 as we're speaking right now, but we'll actually run you through it and I'll show you all the details in a minute. Let me actually get the box open. We'll do a little box opening while we're here. Now, the Viltrox boxes have always been fantastic quality. They have great build quality. The only thing I don't like about them is they're actually damn hard to open, which I think is probably a good thing. It makes them secure, but boy, they're often a very tight fit. So I'm just going to struggle a little bit to get this open, but here we go. We got it. So I'll put that box down there and you can sort of still read the details if you need to. Now, inside the box there, you get a lovely carry case, which is amazing. So we'll just open this up. We'll take that out of the box. I'll put this base of the box away. Won't need that for a moment. And let's unzip her. There she is. It's a great padded case. It's all very secure. Nice material, good grip. Feels good in the hands. It's not going to slip out of your fingers. And you've got some quality zips here, which makes a big difference in sealing it up. Now, that's nice and secure, so I'll just open it up now. And as we open it up, you can see here that other than the actual monitor, which I've already removed, you can see here you get a bunch of accessories in there. So what do we get? Well, I'll just run you through it. One of the most important accessories you get is this wonderful little flippy out screen protector / sunshade. So I'll just open it up here, even though it's not on the camera, just to illustrate. And you'll know that clip out, pop out arrangement it has. So if I can just show you that again. It folds up into a nice neat little package, great for storage and putting away. And when you want to open it up, notice it just pops out for you and makes into the shape. And that just pops over the front of the monitor very, very simply. So what you do is you just clip it in here from the back, give it a little clip, 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 and then it goes in every corner, and it's very secure. But I found this was a fantastic little thing to have with the unit because it gives you great sunshade, and it also provides a wonderful screen protector. So if you're storing this away in your carry bag, you're not worrying about the screen getting scratched and damaged. It's always got a nice protective coating on it. So isn't that a fantastic little unit? And the way it just pops out like that for you and folds away is great. That's awesome. So I'm very respectful of that. I think that's an excellent inclusion, and I never would have expected that buying a monitor normally. So what are the other things they give you? Well, they do provide this, and this is a marvellous little accessory. I'll show you more close-ups and details of it in a moment, but it's simply a Sony equivalent PN battery, and this is the Viltrox branded one, and they make it white. So usually these batteries in this size format, which is the 550 size, usually come in black, and they're a little bit smaller, and I'll explain the slight size difference and why. But I've got, I don't know, 5 of these batteries anyway. I have 2 of this size, which is a little bit bigger. And of these size batteries, of these Sony batteries, I have 16 of these. So I've got no shortage of battery power already with me. But was I appreciative that they provided one with the units here up and going straight away? Yes, that's fantastic. Shows real consideration and really optimizing the pack for immediate start. Now, what's exciting about this battery unit is not only does it give you an hour and a half worth of charge and run time, and I know that because I tested it. I charged this battery up. When it was fully charged, I ran the unit for 1.5 hours and then it just shut off. So it shut off because that's how long a runtime you're going to get. Now on something like this bigger size battery here, next size up, which is a 750 size, you're probably going to get 2 hours. And on one of these full size batteries, the very large 790 size, you're going to get I'd say 3 hours is very reasonable. So 1.5, 2, 3 hours runtime, depending on the battery size you use. But no, it just did not overheat. It does have an inbuilt fan to cool it, but there was no issue with this. It just ran till the battery died. So I was very impressed with an hour and a half runtime from such a modest sized battery. So apart from that, the other interesting feature that this has is it has a little USB port, USB-C. And what that means is you can charge it with a USB cable, so you're not having to worry about having a charger kit with you anywhere you go. So if you have something to charge your phone up, then you can charge this up, and that's great, isn't it? So it's very universal. You can charge it on the go. In fact, if you forgot to charge it the night before and you're going to a gig and you're in your car, you can use your phone charger in the car, your little USB cable, plug this in, it can charge on the way as you're going to give it a top up. So that's a fantastic feature that they provide a battery that can be USB charged. Fantastic. All included in the price, it's not an extra fee. Another thing they provide for you, which is of a great consideration, I think, is a lovely mount. So they give you this lovely mount. You can put on your hot shoe, screw it in. It has a little clip adapter here, and what that does is make sure it doesn't swivel around unnecessarily on the end there. And that's a fantastic little rig they give you that you can twist around and manipulate your monitor, and it's free of charge and it's provided in the kit for you. So, it's a plastic build, but it's a sturdy build. I'm very impressed with it, really. Now inside the little bag here, they have a Ziploc bag, and then they have some cables. So you have, what you have is a HDMI cable here, HDMI to mini HDMI. Then you have a HDMI to HDMI full size, which I've already got out of the bag because I'm using it. And apart from that, you have your USB-C to USB-A port, so you can charge your battery. So they give you everything. You're not like you're shortchanged at all. You've got a lovely carry bag. You've got all the accessories you could possibly want. And I think that's just an awesome kit. And I'm very impressed with how they put all that together for us. So I thought that was important to give you a little open boxing session there. I think that's amazing. So what I would like to do is now talk to you. I'll just move this out the way so it's not a distraction for now. So what I'm going to do is bring this rig up here to show you the actual unit. There we go. And it's on my Z9, as you can see right now. I'll just release this so I can show you. So I've got it on a ball, what I call a fluid head here. It's the 502 Manfrotto, and that just gives me a lovely fluid maneuver when I'm on a tripod. So I'm illustrating being on a tripod here now because I don't want to have a tripod, it's too bulky and in the way. So what I use is these steel plates. So I've cut these steel plates out for myself. What they are is, it's a centimetre thick or 10 millimetres thick cast iron, and it's about the size of about 12 inches by 6 inches wide. And what that enables me to do is have a good solid sturdy weight base. This thing's not going to fall over easy when I'm demonstrating. It's also great just to put on a tabletop when you're filming. If you're just, that's all you need. You don't need tripod and adjustable height. So, but anyway, that's what I use, these steel plates. I think they're fantastic. So here we have the rig, and I'm just going to disconnect the rig now from this tripod. So I'll bring it over in front of you, and I'm going to turn everything on so you can actually see everything in operation and what it all looks like. So just give me a few seconds to make sure that everything is actually turned on. So hey again friends, how are you? I've got this thing on the mount again to make it nice, safe and secure, because I thought I might fumble around too much and shake things about. As you can see, I plugged in my other existing 7-inch monitor here. It's got a big battery in it too and a HDMI cable. And what I've been able to do is go from now here the HDMI out of this monitor and go into my second monitor, which gives me in turn a view. So you can see here now the view yourself, you can see it actually fully functional, and that's amazing, isn't it? So you can have talent watching at the same time, just as we are right now. So I could be behind my camera, I could be viewing this screen and getting all the benefits of a great sharp monitor with options. But if the talent who I might be filming wish to see what's going on themselves, see their composition, see their framing, this second monitor is a real blessing. So having that, being able to be connected up with another HDMI and they actually see what's going on, isn't that a great benefit? So just sort of run you through that. I'll show you a little clip about that a little later on too, when we talk about monitor sizes and use. But I just wanted to illustrate that briefly for you. So anyway, there we have that up and running, and you got the two monitor options, two HDMI in and out. That was a great selling point for me because I thought that was a real consideration to your talent and whoever you're filming, what's going on, and also, of course, fantastic for sharing the images with everyone rather than all crunching around a little 3-inch screen. You've got two big monitors to have a look at. So that's a fantastic option as well, and I just wanted to show you that operational. Now, this camera here, this is actually rigged up to be ready now. Not so much for a tripod use, although it could be left on like that. But you notice I've got handles on, and the reason I've got the handles on is because I often use this Z9 as a handheld rig, where I'll pick it up and I'll carry it around and use it. And very much when I'm doing weddings, I'm out in the park, or we're doing some sort of a reception information, and I need to move around and follow the bride and groom, I'll grab this unit here and I can carry it around and maneuver it, and it's just fantastically versatile. And the fact that I can just slap it quickly onto a tripod that I have handy is great. I can rest my arms in, or even if I need to walk away, I can let it just run and go to the toilet or get a drink, whatever I need to do. But the versatility of this rig is fantastic. I wanted to illustrate that because often when you've got a monitor, it's because you're actually filming for a long period of time, and you might be doing options like this where you're going from handheld and moving around to fixing it onto a tripod, and then you've got everything you need. The other advantages of having a cage with the handles is that, of course, you can attach all these accessories. So I mentioned about the light previously. I've mentioned you've got sound system here going. So it's good to have a high quality sound system so you're not missing out on anything and you can record. This unit here, this transmitter receiver system that I use, has a range of about 150 metres, and that's obstructed as well. So they could be behind a building, behind some sort of corner or trees, and you can still hear all the audio perfectly. It's actually an incredible system. But getting away from that and talking about the monitor is beautiful and bright. Some of the options I want to talk to you about with the monitor, it has a great menu system which you can scroll through, and I'll show you the details of that a little later. It's hard when I'm not facing everything, so it's not much point. It's great when I can see what's going on from here, this point of view, but I don't get the menu system come up, so that's a bit disappointing for me right now. But I'll run you through the menu system a little later. But some of the things you get is waveforms, you get false colours, you're getting zebras, you're getting every conceivable option you could imagine that you need for as a videographer, you're getting all that. So you're not missing out in any way. So it's a budget unit. For me, it cost me $310 Australian, which is about 200 US. That is incredibly cheap for a monitor that's 6 inches of high definition and with all the features it has. And as you saw from the opening of the box and the case, you get everything you need, including a battery, mounts, cables and accessories. Even a screen protector comes in. And when I say a screen protector, I don't mean the shield, sun shield. I mean, they actually give you a film to put over the front of the monitor to protect it from scratching as well. So it's a complete kit. So for $310 Australian, it cost me absolutely a bargain, and I highly recommend it for that. Another feature I'm very impressed with is the fact that it's USB powered as an option. So under here there is a USB port, and what you can do is you can power it up. So how does that work? Well, I'll just show you, because I have all these this equipment anyway. So here I have a little pouch that I'll often dangle off the side of my belt or off the tripod, and this carries my power pack. I've got a very large power pack here. It's a console one, and it's a very, very excellent power supply. Lasts all day when it's powered. In fact, it's equivalent of about 3 of these Nikon Z9 batteries, so it gives you an idea how much grunt it's got. It's got a lot of juice. But inside here, the package, I also have a very high quality cable. Now, it's important that if you buy a USB-C to USB-C cable to transfer power, that you get the highest quality one you can. No cheapy, nasty ones that you use to charge your phone are going to cut it. You have to have a top-end transfer power bank cable. And that's what I've got here. So we can just plug that in there. I'll just plug it in for you. There it goes. And we plug it into this unit here. And right now we'll be, if I just make sure it's all turned on, yes it is, you can see the blue lights. Right now we can power this entire unit just from this here now, all day. So it's good to have the battery in there as a backup. You can charge their battery with this USB as well. But the beauty is here, this will run now all day with this charge. You don't have to worry about changing batteries if you want to. The other good thing about a power pack, and why I highly recommend you have one with USB, is you can also power your Nikon camera. Nikon cameras, of course, have a USB and a powering port. So you plug this into the Nikon camera if you wish to, and you can power the camera. Just simply have a second cable, which I do. You can now power the cable into the camera and into the monitor and power everything all day. So that's a great option as well. If you should be short of these batteries, and unlike me, you don't have 16 of these batteries handy, that can be a very useful option to have. So I highly recommend that. Now, I was just talking about the USB powering and how I keep it in this little pouch, which is very convenient to put on your belt, put it on a tripod or anything. That's a great system. The other thing I want to talk to you about, that was a USB power pack. You can also use a V-mount battery. Now I have I have 2 of these large V-mount batteries for various lighting purposes. And what I do is I can use this also via the USB cables to power the monitor as well, because these have ports in them for USB powering. I just illustrate that here. Probably be able to pick it up there. You see the 2 little blue tags. That's the USB. There's 2 of them, and that puts out 5 volts, and it's certainly enough to power that monitor. And so with something like this big brick, I mean, you'd power it for a week, but the point is it's just handy to have something that can charge things in a pinch. So even if you leave it in the car and you're not using it all the time, just to know for backup's sake that you had something to power the rig and charge it up, it's a great accessory to have. So what I'd like to do is just run you through the menu system very, very briefly and just give you an idea of what goes on. So you click the menu option button, you have a list of menu options, you start at the top, and as you can see, you've got your Open USB, Luttable list, your Canon formulas for all your gamuts and so on. You've got here your volume bar, which you of course can increase for your headphones. You can turn that on and off and make adjustments. You notice if I put the bar on, the volume is coming. And if I should talk too loud, you can see it really climbing up. And if I talk real soft, you can see it's very gentle. So yeah, the volume bar is very handy for when you're actually doing the video. Right now it's just a distraction. You can have histogram, which is awesome. So you can see here, you can turn your histogram on, you can see what's going on with your exposure. You've got vector scope as well, which is very useful. You've got here RGB parade, your full waveforms. These are all options that you can have on and off. So you just got to choose to turn them on or off. So here you go, you've got all your scopes here. There's no way you can't know what's going on. There's your 3D list. So if we just go back again to waveform and we turn that off, we're back to standard. We go into the list here, you can choose what options you want as far as your, let's say we go for a Nikon option. There we are. So we're up to Nikon now, so that's fantastic. Nikon log LUT. So if we go back now and we get out of that and we go here to the second lot of options here, you've got all these different options for modes, zebras, so you can increase the zebra pattern, you just slide it along, how much zebras you want or not want. Your various gamuts of false colours, green, grey, red, for example, blue, you can choose whatever you like there, so that's very handy. Go back to your standard maybe is probably a great option. This is interesting for dual screens and etc. You've got here your overscan, so you've got your standard, and then if you press overscan it's zooming in for you so that you can get a better look at your focus and critical imagery. You have here options for flipping. So what's flip all about? Well, flip just means you can make your left right and your right left. So if you're looking from the camera from the other perspective, and when you raise your right hand, you want it to be on the right of the screen so you sort of synchronize better and you understand what it is you're picking up and doing. That can be very handy. So yeah, apart from the fact that you press the menu and you activate the various options you've got here. Here you've got your Kelvins. I always have it on 5600, that's my favourite. You've got here your brightness control where you can go up to 2000 nits of brightness. Now I just want to illustrate here that 2000 nits is way too bright for interior, but if you're outside on a bright sunny day, having that sort of potential is very excellent. You've got your contrast, of course, slider. You've got your saturation colour slider, hues, sharpness, backlighting. Backlighting is very much like brightness. You can just keep popping that up and you've got endless arrangements of being able to make this as bright as necessary in very odd situations. Your colour temperature options, of course, which I showed you before, which I prefer 5600. And down here at the very end, you can reset to manual to factory presets. You've got updates options. You've got your language, which I'm just going to leave as English. You've got your fan speed. Now this is very interesting and very useful. You can click it onto auto, where it'll just adjust to the ambient temperature and conditions. That's a safe bet, but it can get noisy if it's critical to keep the noise down. You can of course turn it off completely, so it's absolutely silent. There is no fan operating. Just be aware it may overheat in long periods of time out in the sun. You can have it on low, which I actually prefer because I think low, it's got some activity of fan work to cool it, but it's not disturbing your audio and sound. Medium is for when you want an each way bet. You know it's going to get hot, but you don't want too much noise. If you put it on high, it's very cool, but the problem is it's going to make a lot of racket. So if I come up close and you listen to that now, you'll hear that could get very distracting with your audio if you left it on all the time and your microphones were close. So providing your microphones are far enough away, you don't need to leave that on at all. So again, I'd have it on low as a standard, and then you can adjust it accordingly as you need. But there's just some of the menus. There are many more options. I won't go into too much. It's best that you just play with that yourself at your leisure when you buy the unit. But just I wanted to run you through the many options they do provide for you, which makes your whole video experience magnificent. Also useful for photos as well, of course, but most people buy a unit like this particularly for video. So as I tilt down the screen, you can see here you've got a function menu button in, well, bright orange, so it's very easy to see. You've got your F1, 2, 3 and 4 that you can formulate for any options you wish as a quick access point. So if you want to find your vector scope, you want your zooming in, or you want your false colours, you can always program into 4 different options for quick access, which is terrific. This is obviously a power button here, which obviously you're going to need to know all about, but it's great it's got a bright green light. You know when the thing's activated. It only requires a few seconds touch to turn it on, turn it off. So we're not talking about 5, 6 seconds. It's 2 to 3 seconds and it's already up and running or off. In fact, if you want to turn it off, it's actually a little bit interesting. You turn it off and then it gives you a prompt to say, are you sure? You can cancel or go ahead. That's important because you don't want to bump it by mistake and shut everything down in the middle of filming. On the underside of the monitor, you can see here, you've got your DC in for mains powering, should you wish that. They don't actually provide you a mains power arrangement back, but of course you can buy them independently. You have the in for your Type-C, so if you want to power this unit with your USB-C power pack, you can, and that's a great option. You can run the thing all day without worrying about flipping batteries. And over here you have your USB input, and that's for updating your own personal LUTs. So if you've got some certain LUTs you want to program in, you plug them in here with a USB chip, not a USB cable. So you have your USB chip, you plug that in, you download them, and then you've got all your own LUTs available whenever you want them. Over here on this side of the monitor here, you can see you've got your HDMI input, and that of course goes into the camera. Here you have the out, which attaches to the other monitor if you wish to have two monitors going at any given time. This is a great option. It's excellent for having a second monitor for your talent to have a look at. Plug it in, it functions very easily. There's no issue with understanding any concept. It's plug and play, and you'll have two monitors up and going. You can have one forward, one back, or two to the side, whatever you like. And of course here we have your headphone jack, which of course you've got full volume control internally, so you can have it any volume you like. So on that side you've got also a little fan intake, and then the fan extake out the top there, and that helps cool the unit. So yeah, very good to have full HDMI and have two of them as well. That's a real bonus. That's a fantastic option. On this side of the monitor where you have the power button, you also have another mounting accessory. So it's a 1/4. You've got the little pinholes here that you can lock it in and make sure it doesn't twist around, so that's fantastic. And here of course you have an air intake for your fan system. So the fan comes out the top, the air comes in from the both left and the right, and so you've got a lot of cooling going through the unit, keeping everything nice and safe. So on the rear of the monitor there's not a lot to see, but there is of course the battery mount, and that's very important to have that Sony battery mount so that you can run the thing as you wish. More batteries you have, the safer that option is. Of course you've got your power button on this side, your accessories, your F1, 2, 3, 4, and your option menu here. And another important feature that I think is very interesting about the monitor is that it has a button release for the battery. So unless you press in that button, you can't release the battery. It clips in and it locks in safe. So as you're moving around, you're never going to tilt the thing and battery's going to fall off. It is clipped into place. And that's a great safety feature. I've not seen that before in another monitor. Maybe others have them, but this one I thought was a particular great consideration, that you can clip the battery in and make sure it doesn't accidentally pop out or get bumped out. So that's awesome. The other thing I can say about this is it has this nice grated aluminium feel. It's very robust. It's not in any way flimsy or nasty and cheap. It feels quite good, strong build. Now this is not, corrugation is not here for no reason. This is to help with the cooling and the heat release. So it's a textured pattern. It looks quite attractive and robust and industrial, but it is there for a function, and it helps with surface area and cooling down the back of the unit. So I just wanted to show you the comparison of the monitor sizing, where you have a standard 3-inch screen on the Nikon camera, and now you can see what a 6-inch screen looks like. And do appreciate this, you also have the ability to expand that screen to make full use of its volume and size. So that's a very handy option with the touchscreen arrangement. So this is truly the difference between 6 and 3-inch, but in order to get framing, to see all your numbers and all your details, we'll just shrink it down a little bit to maybe a 5-inch screen or 5.5, and that enables you to get all your details, which makes it a lot more convenient. But it doesn't mean you can't expand it up to the full 6-inch, zooming in a little bit. So here we have a 3-inch monitor, standard from Nikon, and here we have the 6-inch monitor from Viltrox. You can see the various size difference. Of course, the brightness on this one goes up incredibly much more than the Nikon one. You have 1,000, not even have 1,000 nits, but on the 4-inch screen on the ZR, you have 1,000 nits of brightness. This one here is 2,000 nits of brightness, so the potential to go a lot brighter is greater with the monitor. Very handy for outside. But if you want to have a look at a size difference of the screen, just so you get the idea between 3, 4 and 6, I'll use this business card because this business card is 4 inches in diameter. I measured it with a ruler, so I know it's accurate. So just so you get a rough idea there, that's a 3-inch. The business card would be a 4-inch screen, and then there's the 6-inch screen. So it is actually quite a noticeable difference in size increase, isn't it? So 4 inch is great. There's nothing wrong with that, but the reason I've chosen not to buy a ZR at the moment is I think if I want a bigger screen or a monitor, I'm going to go with this Viltrox one, which I think is a lot brighter and more optional for me. Very versatile to put it on any camera you like. So we're talking about comparisons of monitor sizes and their function and value. I have a little 4-minute video that runs you through the different monitors and their sizing and how their uses are. So I'll just play that and you'll get to see the 3-inch, the 6-inch and that 7-inch monitor all together running at the same time, and there's a little commentary along with it as far as their value goes. So here we have all 3 monitors together that I have. Obviously in the middle, lower, you have the Z9's inbuilt monitor. Now there's nothing wrong with that monitor, it's a great monitor. It's just that it's 3 inches in diameter, and when you get any distance between you and the camera, and we have that now, we've got about 1 metre or 3 feet, a yard if you want to use US measurements, between me and the camera now I'm filming with, and it just starts to become a bit difficult to read and see. So it's not impossible, but more difficult. And that's the same if you're using the flip-out camera on my ZFC that I'm using now, or your ZF, or your Z6 III. Once you get some distance between you and that monitor, it does become a bit tricky to read. Now just above it, we have the new monitor, the Viltrox 6-inch screen. And that's a wonderful unit. I'm very pleased to have purchased that. I like some of the features, which it has massive amounts of adjustments and corrections inside the unit. But very importantly, it's a touch screen as well. So it becomes user-friendly, just like using your mobile phone in that way. You can increase the zoom of the image just by the finger pinching and contracting it again. Touch the left side and you've got volume, and the right side you've got your brightness levels, and so it's brilliant to use as far as it's just comfort and convenience. It's of course the perfect size too. At around 6 inches, it's definitely double the size of the standard Nikon monitor inbuilt in the cameras. It's even obviously bigger, 2 inches again, other than the 4-inch monitor from the ZR, which is a great camera and a good monitor, but still 6 inches is dynamically bigger than 4. And so this becomes very user-friendly. And having it on the sort of ball head arrangement I have, the monitor mount, I can flip that around in 360 degrees. I can tilt it up and down, left and right in any angle I want. I can have it reversed so I can see it if I'm in front of the camera too. So that just makes a completely universal monitor mount and arrangement, and it gives me, for every purpose I could come up with, that would be the perfect unit. It's also sufficiently compact and also light enough to fit on the camera, carry it around with those handles you can see, or on a gimbal, and it wouldn't be impossible. Then you have also to the side, to the left of screen, you have the Aperture HD. Now that's a 7-inch monitor, so it's bigger again than the 6-inch of course, and that makes it very visible. So this is actually a great monitor if you've got your camera on a tripod. So if you've got it on a tripod or in a monopod, you're not moving around very much. You're pretty much still, then that's an awesome one to use, because it doesn't matter that it's a little bit big and bulky. It's not important because it's not going anywhere anyway. You're not traveling it around, you're not carrying it. I've tried carrying it, it is very top heavy on the camera. So this is where that new Viltrox 6-inch monitor I found to be the perfect combination and balance, because you can use the smaller battery that they provide that is USB chargeable. Also very important, the monitor is of course powerable by USB. So if you've got a battery pack, you can plug a USB-C cable in and you can power it pretty much all day with a decent battery pack. You don't even have to have a big battery on it to last you any length of time. So I find that the options of HDMI in and out, and that's how you're seeing this image right now. Important point to make is that this HDMI in and out on top of this new 6-inch Viltrox monitor means that I can connect the image from that monitor over to the 7-inch monitor, put it in that one, and now I've got 2 monitors operating. I couldn't do that before with the Aperture monitor that only had one HDMI. So now with the in and out version, I can have multiple monitors now, and therefore I can have one so maybe facing the talent so they can see what they're doing. I can have one on top of the camera so I can see what's going on clearly, and everybody wins. Everybody's got a view of what's going on. So that's terrific if you want to share the image live with your talent at the time. It's also excellent if you want to view images. So if you're taking little video snippets or you're taking photos, isn't it great to be able to show people very big screen all the images you've taken without them all crowding around a little 3-inch monitor and squinting. So thank you for being patient with me there. I hope you enjoyed that program. So this DC-X2 model from from Viltrox. This monitor, 6-inch, I think is magnificent, and I'm very pleased with my purchase. I'm sure you will be too, if should you choose to get one. Now, I will say this about it, apart from the great packaging, the kit you get and all the accessories, which is amazing, I did mention about this little pop-out sunscreen, and how awesome I think that is. So if I can just illustrate that for you now. There we go. You can see how it pops out like that. I think that is amazing. So I just want to run you through that, how great that is. It's not awkward to operate at all. It's just that my angle of view right now is a little bit restricted. But there you go. It's like that. It pops out quite easily once you get underneath it, and there it goes. And you see it clicks into place. And that's a great idea, I think, because you need a screen. You know, when you're out in the bright sun, anything you can do to get rid of glare and distraction is fantastic. And that's one of the big reasons why, I must admit, I chose a monitor over something like the ZR with a bigger screen built in. And it's really because of this. I cannot do without my viewfinder. I'm totally reliant on it most of the time. I think it comes from the DSLR days, history of 10, 20 years looking through a viewfinder to get your focus composition. I'm finding that a hard habit to break. I love having the monitor for the big screen factor of it, be able to see it from a distance or watch yourself as you're doing a video. So the big monitor is actually a bonus, but I still will tend to go back and rely on critical details with my viewfinder, and I just can't let that go. And the ZR not having a viewfinder, the Z6 II having one, I'm more likely out of the two to weigh up the balance and say, for my personal situation, I would go with the Z6 III and a 6-inch monitor rather than the ZR with a 4-inch flip-out monitor. Horses for courses, everybody has their own preference, but that's why I've chosen to do the monitor, just so you understand my choice. It has nothing to do with the ZR being no good. I think it's actually a fantastic camera, and it'll be awesome for those vloggers and that who want to do their TikTok videos and simple YouTube videos like I'm doing now at home in this sort of controlled environment. It's fantastic. Just how great that's going to be out and about, I'm not too sure yet. It's probably very early days for me to make a financial commitment on something so new, but I'm interested to see how it progresses, and also very interested to see what the next step is when they go maybe a very large and more professional bodied version, something like a Z9R maybe. That could be very exciting. But at the moment, I'm loving this thing. I love this protective screen. I love the way it makes it safe and bulletproof from getting any damage. I think it's a terrific idea, and it's very, very handy unit. So I give it 2 thumbs up. Highly recommend any Viltrox product anytime. I will mention that they do make a 7-inch version of this as well. It's a recent release, and I think it's called the X1. If I remember rightly. And that one there is a brilliant unit too. It has exactly the same options, like there's no real difference in the options to this one, other than it's a little bit larger, and it does have, instead of focusing so much on the buttons for your menu system, it has a wheel option as well. You can rotate a wheel through the menu if you're not interested in touching the screen too much. So that's another choice. It's just a different option. It's about $150 more expensive. You'd expect that because it's a bigger unit and it's a newer model. But for me, this was the ideal one, the ideal size, and it's nice and compact and exactly what I want. If I want a 7-inch monitor, I already have a 7-inch monitor. I didn't need to buy the bigger version, but it's important you know that that is available. And again, that's going to be exactly the same quality, exactly the same features, just it's about 30% more expensive, and it's about 15 to 20% larger. So it's good to know, isn't it? They make also a version 3 of this. So this is the DC-X2. They make a DC-X3. And the only difference between that and this one is that it has the DCI ports in the back. So in the back of the unit here, you'll have 2 little DCI inputs, and that's great if you're using that for video. As a video professional, you may have a camera that utilises that. I don't, so it's no use to me, and that's why I bought the 2 version. But I'm very happy with it, and for the $310 Australian I paid, I think it's a real bargain. So happy hunting with your monitors. Personally, I don't mind what one you buy, what model or what brand, but I just want to let you know I was quite content and happy with this one. So thank you for your time today, guys. Have a great weekend.